Welcome back, everyone. Phoenix 3 here, and I wanted to present some new information that came out about this whole thing about this Japanese arcade taking the game out due to lack of popularity. It has been recently brought to my attention that this here isn't the case. Basically, what happened was this one specific arcade kind of caught on board of the whole Pokemon fighting game hype, and they went to Nintendo and Bandai Namco to see if they could get this game exclusively in their arcade. Of course, Nintendo and Bandai Namco disagreed to that um, because they want everybody to have the chance to play this game at many locations. So they instead had their game removed from their arcade because they didn't want to have that exclusive deal with them. And this year is kind of some BS thing because then they just went out and said, oh, the game's just not doing well here, and it's doing, as they said, the game's not doing well there, and then said they're going to get it removed, which I thought was kind of odd news at the beginning because, I mean, if a game is going to do bad somewhere, there's going to be more than one location where this here is actually going to be doing bad or just as bad as. And it just seemed odd that this year was the one location that came out and said, oh, this game is doing bad here. But when in reality, these people were just salty, as Westerners say, because they couldn't have the game exclusively in their arcade when they saw the potential that the game could have had. I also thought it was kind of odd that there were no specific numbers or anything that this arcade said came to losses. It was just Japanese arcade pulling game because it's not popular there. How can a game like this not be popular when it's doing well literally everywhere else? This just kind of strikes me as odd because this seems like something that you expect from Microsoft and Activision when it comes to Call of Duty. You know how those games always get the DLC 1 month before everybody else. I believe recently they swapped it to where the PlayStation fans are getting the DLC first before the Xbox players do, and they are just raging over that when it's been like that for years in favor of Microsoft. Basically, what happened with that is the developer buys, or not really the developer, Microsoft or Sony buys the developer and says, we'll pay you this amount of money if you make the game exclusive on our content or the best version exclusive to our content for X amount of time, which in this case is 1 month in terms of DLC, and then they pay them out the money. So they were trying to do that same thing here, we'll pay you an X amount to make this game exclusive to our arcade because this game has potential to make a lot of money. It's a Pokemon fighting game, something the world's wanted since Pokemon came out, or at least since Pokemon Stadium. But this is something that we've always wanted. So there's obviously a potential here. And if you can monopolize that to where you're making everybody go to your arcade to play the game, then of course you're going to be making that money. But Nintendo said no. Bamco said no. And these people were just mad and just said, we're going to remove it from our stores and then just say the game's just not popular and maybe that'll hurt other locations and stuff like that. It's sad to see this happen, and I hate it when this happens in gaming, period. I don't like exclusive things in games. I don't like games being sold to exclusive locations. I've always been a firm believer that everybody should get to play the game and take the money out of gaming and just let gaming be about the gamers like it used to be. But now it's like there's no integrity anymore in gaming. Everybody's just out for themselves. Everybody just wants to make all the money that they can and, screw the gamers because I just never understood that mindset. It's like, why do you want to make the people mad who are going to be buying your game. Like, I never understood that. If I'm selling a game, it'd be in my best interest to pander to the fans, give them what they want because they're the ones ultimately buying the game, you know. I don't see the purpose in making a game, telling the fans what you are and aren't going to do with it, and then expect them to give you your money. Like, I don't understand that mindset. I don't know where this mindset came from. This is also the reason I don't play a lot of games, is simply because of the fact that they just they are so disrespectful to the fans, and then they still expect the fans to give them their money. You know, that's not how it works. That's not how I work. You know, if I'm giving a company my money, it's because I enjoy their product. And to see this one arcade do this and then try to just bring down every other arcade by saying, you know, the game's just not doing popular here is a bad thing. Because, you know, a lot of us didn't know what happened. And this just recently got brought to my attention. And I didn't even know what happened. I was under the impression that, you know, that the game was seriously doing bad in Japan. But once you actually get past the clickbait titles that people post up, you realize it was only just one specific arcade, which didn't seem right to me. It's like, okay, well, it's not doing well in this arcade, but why is that? You know, it's not just they're not going to this one arcade to play, because it's to my understanding, this arcade here is a very popular arcade in Japan. So these people get traffic, but people aren't playing this. It's like, you know, why are people playing games like Animal Kaiser? Why are people playing or just all these other really awkward mobile games? I mean, Monster Hunter has one along the same line as well. Pokemon even has one. So they're playing these games, but I had to keep asking myself is why is Pokken Tournament in this arcade not being played? And it never came to my mind that this would have been the reason, because the uh the Japanese culture is very respectable, a lot of times in my opinion when it comes to business. Yeah, they're disconnected from the rest of the world when it comes to developing games for the world, but this was never one of the things that came to mind. You know, I never thought of a Japanese developer doing something like this. I mean, it happens. You know, we're all human, but just based on what I've known from the culture, this isn't something that I would have. This wasn't the first thing on my list of things that would happen. Like, if I would have had to go down a list to figure out why this game failed, it'll be like reason 97 as to why this game could fail. But when it comes to like American games, if a game fails, you already know the reason. It's because they either bought an exclusive deal and the fans didn't like it, or they tried to get an exclusive deal and the company didn't like it, and therefore they just didn't sell their product. Like, that's just how petty American business is. But I don't get that same vibe from Japanese business. But when it comes to gaming culture, the gaming culture in itself is a completely different beast. So I wanted to just share that information. Maybe that can clear up some of this stuff, because Pokken Tournament is still doing extremely well in Japan. Just this one isolated event because of the reason that I said in this video. So I want to know what you guys think on it. Maybe this changed some of your views. Maybe you don't believe it, and otherwise, you know, you've already got your mind made up on it. But that's all I got for this video. So if you like it, please subscribe to my channel. I'm always going to be covering the Pokken Tournament whenever I see it in the news. I'm also going to be covering the game's development. Um, I'll also play the game when it releases here. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, if you found the information useful. Spread it, share it with your friends. Maybe they can see this too and clear up any misconceptions. And as always, I want to say thank you for watching my videos, and I hope to see you all in the next one.